Okay. Well,
Nope, I'm
guys,
there.
um, welcome to It's All Connected, the Marvel, DC, Star Wars recap show here on the Illuminerdi.
Take two.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Bryce West, and Richard. Caitlin, you want to redo
Yeah.
your introduction?
What's up? What's up? Richard here, writer for the Illuminerdi. Hey, Caitlin.
Hi,
Oh wow.
I'm Caitlin, writer at the Illuminerdi. Got a lot to
So
talk
sorry
about.
about.
We're just gonna dive into it.
Yeah. We. Oh my God. For those of you who have been with us for the last 20 minutes, watching us just
Don't do that.
doing
Yeah,
doing
don't
that.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No. Thank you for sticking with us, and sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh my gosh.
And thanks for the heads up, Jalen. That was very helpful.
Oh,
Thank you
wow.
so much. Our chat saving our asses.
Well, here real quick, I guess before we start the show, I just got done doing this muted, but we do have a super chat feature if you guys, want to do that. We're gonna be reading the normal chat as well, or trying to keep up with it. But of course, if you send a super chat, we will be sure to read that as well. But let's get straight into our Falcon the Winter Soldier recap. This is gonna be a repeat for the
Take
rest
two.
of us. But for the people watching at home, this is going to be new to you because, of course, we were muted for the first 20 minutes of the show.
Right. If it helps anybody feel better, this is the first time anything like this has happened to us. Hopefully, it'll be the last.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. No clue. All
Okay,
right.
so we started with talking about the fight between John Walker, Bucky Barnes, and Sam Wilson. I think my brain is still catching up with what just happened.
Oh my God, me too. If we're a little on the fritz, we're sorry.
So first of all, awesome fight. You know, like,
Yes.
Yeah. For sure.
we had some just great action sequences in there between the three of them. We had Sam and Bucky working more as a team than usual to fight against John Walker. We had John Walker just go completely insane with the things he was saying and then his actions, because he went full, I'm gonna murder Sam, the way I just literally murdered someone with his moves. So yeah, this was definitely a really cool start to the episode that didn't have a lot of action. So this was an excellent kind of really like way to bring us into it, I thought. What did you guys think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you mentioned, Caitlin, this episode didn't actually have as much action as like a lot of the first few episodes did. But damn, we got it in that John Walker and Falcon and Bucky fight. I mean, we got arms breaking. We got, like I was mentioning when we were muted, a new Marvel drinking game. Every time John Walker says, "I am Captain America," I mean, you'll probably be out in about 10 minutes. But I mean, overall, awesome fight scene.
Well, and the imagery too of the shield with the blood on it and Sam trying to wipe the blood away, that was just fantastic as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the fight was absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously we saw John Walker completely turn in the last episode, but we just get to see that even more in this episode. I mean, John is literally trying to kill Sam and Bucky, who are supposed to be his allies, so, I mean, he is completely turned for the worst, in this episode still. I mean, because this just picks up right where they left off. And, yeah, I mean, just an incredible fight scene. I mean, arms breaking, glitching out, all over the place. This was not a good fight for the character's arms, I think. Because we had John's broken arm, and then Bucky's arm started like spazzing out or whatever whenever John.
Yeah, when it hit the electrical box.
Yeah.
Falcon lost his wings.
Yeah, yes. I don't even think we mentioned that whenever we weren't muted.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's a good thing we did this again. Yeah, I mean, R.I.P. Falcon wings. Holy crap.
Yeah, for sure. Well, see, there we go. That's why I had us muted the whole time, because I knew that we had forgotten about Falcon's wings, and we had to redo it. No.
But no. Jalen, no, I totally agree with you. I think he's gonna be. I think he's at the mentality of U.S. agent, but I am excited to see if we actually get the name, because that would be a really interesting thing of who names him. Does he take the name himself? Is it something that he's given by maybe our new character? How is that going to work out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of new characters, Julia Louis-Dreyfus popped up in this episode.
She played Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. 2 for 2.
Boom. 2 for 2. Or we could just call her Val, like she said.
But only in your head.
only in your head.
The new character that appeared.
Freaking Julia Louis-Dreyfus in the MCU. And before you go on this, Caitlin, way to go, Marvel, for keeping this a secret, because none of us had any clue what to expect.
Yeah, I will say I think that they built it up a little bit too much, similar to WandaVision situation with like Paul Bettany saying there's a character he's like an actor he's really excited to work with, and it was himself. This is one of those situations where people were like, really? I feel like if they had been a little more relaxed about it, you wouldn't have as many people kind of going, I thought it was going to be a bigger name, for the actress. The character is hugely important because in the comics, she has so many things that happen to her. She's a love interest of Nick Fury. She ends up being revealed to be a Russian sleeper agent. She becomes Madam Hydra. She gets pulled into the Skrull secret invasion stuff. There's a lot of areas that she can go, but for like this episode and for this area, it really feels like they're setting up Thunderbolts, especially because we learned later that she was initially supposed to be introduced in Black Widow, which I hope means she's recruiting Taskmaster because I freaking want him to stick around.
Well, and also someone else who's in that movie, Thaddeus Ross. So
absolutely,
that's a big Thunderbolts member. So
definitely potential to see them working together too. So I think that's really interesting. She also had a great reveal in the episode of the shield doesn't belong to the government.
Yeah. No, I don't think we mentioned that whenever we were muted either.
Technically, the shield would belong to Howard Stark?
I think so. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit on the watch along. We were very confused.
Yeah, for sure. And then he gave it to Steve because Steve was just playing around with the different examples of the shield in the base. So.
Yeah, so I think technically speaking, it would be Stark Industries, but Pepper Potts would probably be like, yeah, have it, whatever.
Well, Gwyneth Paltrow would definitely be like that because she only wants to be in a movie for like 2 minutes now. So
she didn't even know she was in Spider-Man. So
to be fair, she was in a post-credit scene, and I don't think had a single scene with Tom Holland. It was literally just Happy and Tony. So what?
You know what? I will give you that. It could have been an Iron Man movie for her.
Okay, but still.
Or an Avenger movie. How is she
supposed
to
know?
Okay, how is she supposed to know what movie
How do you know how many scripts she has? It's Marvel. Tom Holland didn't know anything that was going on when he was filming like anything after the first movie. The first movie, they went, what did you do? You get no script.
No script for you.
Right? So I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, here's your scene. What is this for? A movie. Okay.
I still just absolutely love that part in Jon Favreau's show. What's it called on Netflix? The Chef or something. Where they're just sitting there, they're cooking, and then he's just like, and they're talking about the scene in Spider-Man and how she was in Spider-Man, and she goes like, no, I wasn't in Spider-Man, and she was sure of it. Like she was sure that she wasn't in Spider-Man. And then Jon Favreau literally like describes her the scene, and she goes, "Oh, that was Spider-Man."
Wow. See, she probably didn't know. I mean, to be fair, it also means she didn't see the movie, but
yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
But hey, she was only in it for 2 minutes. I don't blame her for that front. But anyway, a little bit off track. But what were we on? Madam Hydra.
Yeah, Madam Hydra. I think that's going to be cool. I'm really hoping that she not only is doing something with Thunderbolts, because first off, that'd be amazing, and we've been wanting Thunderbolts since episode 2 of this.
Ever since John Walker got introduced.
Yeah, so we've been wanting Thunderbolts for a while, but also it sets up a lot of really cool potential for Secret Invasion. And Secret Invasion, we already know, is going to be insane.
Right.
So, having a character. And this would be a very cool opportunity to really have a character popping from the movies to the TV shows in a way that we haven't really. I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen a movie come out yet, but we haven't really seen that as much yet.
Yeah, like thinking about characters that are going to pop over from the Disney Plus shows to the movies. I mean, Val could definitely be a candidate if they do the Thunderbolts thing. Monica Rambeau is obviously going to go from WandaVision to Captain Marvel too, because Tiana Paris is confirmed for that.
I think she's in Secret Invasion first, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, I could see her being in Secret Invasion. I mean, we're going to see both Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn go from the movies to the TV shows with Secret Invasion, but that's going to be.
Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova.
Yes, that's exactly the one I was forgetting, from Black Widow to Hawkeye. But no, just as an overall thought, Marvel is already killing it with this Disney Plus to the movies thing, building like this is the connected universe that we wanted with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil and all the Netflix shows and everything. they're doing it now, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, we really have that in a way that's set up brilliantly for Sam in this episode, because we talked about it a little bit last week and a little bit, I think, on the watch along the last couple of weeks. Is it really felt like episode 4 set up Sam proving he is the right person to be Captain America for just a number of reasons. I wrote a feature about it on the Illuminerdi, actually, and there's the fact that I think him not being a super soldier is perfect because it really separates the Captain America legacy from the horrifying legacy of the super soldier serum. Sam Wilson is not someone that goes into a situation with his fists. He goes into it first talking about well, not only his brain, is his heart. He's using his skills as a counselor. He wants to first try and find a peaceful way to solve the problem by talking. And he doesn't just do it with enemies, he does it with allies. We saw probably one of my favorite scenes in the episode was this conversation with Bucky, where it was the first time someone really treated Bucky as someone who needed help and less like a parolee.
Yeah, and before you go, Bryce, that was probably my favorite scene, not just in this episode, but of the entire series so far. I love the callback to episode 1 where Sam asked Bucky if he was still having nightmares, and Bucky said, all the time. Yep. And then them talking about, how Bucky and Steve talked about giving Sam the shield before Steve went and did his thing in Endgame. I mean, that scene was perfect to me.
I've been wanting that sorry to interrupt, but I've been wanting that dynamic the whole season.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely got to be one of the best scenes in the show. I think the Isaiah Bradley scene, also 100%. In this episode, comes super choice. Close, and honestly is probably one of the most socially important scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, period. I think it was, that scene, I kind of struggle to find words to describe that scene, because obviously, I'm not black, so I don't know what it's like to be black or discriminated based off of my skin color, but I of course know that it is a very important issue that we're dealing with today, especially here recently. I mean, obviously, just forever. I mean, almost,
in general.
But I think it really was integral to Sam's decision of becoming Captain America, because he needed to speak with Isaiah before he could ever fully take up the shield. And I think Isaiah's reluctance, he says, no self-respecting black man could ever be Captain America. But I think Sam sees it another way, to where, Sam, I've said this, I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on the show yet, but I've said, I've seen it online too, so this is an original thought of mine. But Steve Rogers is who we think America is. John Walker is who America actually is, and Sam Wilson is who we hope America to be. And so, and we see that, whenever his nephews are playing with the shield and looking and admiring the shield, there's hope there. And so I feel like, after talking with Isaiah, Sam really understood that he needed to be the hope for black people in America. And to do that, he must become Captain America. And I think that was a really, really cool way to finally convince Sam that it's time for him to take up the shield. And I also love the exchange between him and Bucky, where he says, whenever Steve and I were talking about this, we didn't really consider what it must be like for a black man to become Captain America. And I think that's definitely something that I think it was really cool for that to have been brought up, because it's just like, I didn't think of that, like before the show was coming out, I didn't think of that, that's like a big deal. And especially, for Sam being the black man, becoming Captain America, representing not only African Americans, but the country itself, and giving it more of a hopeful look, and So yeah, I think this is probably one of the most important pieces of the MCU to our own world. And I think they did an absolutely a masterful full job with it. And so yeah, I did. What do you what do you guys have to say? I know I kind of went on for a little bit there, but
No, I thought it was great because it tied back to actually the title of the episode, Truth, because this was hugely the backstory of Isaiah Bradley, which is also Truth, Red, White, and Black, which is a Captain America comic. Fantastic comic, definitely worth checking out, and a huge influence on the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. So to have that and to find out his backstory and origin was so interesting. I thought a very cool change that they made, and a very, I don't think cool is even the right word. It's a very like poignant and important decision, was that he was experimented on for the super soldier serum after Steve disappeared. In the comics, it's before. So this was it was just a reaction to Steve. Without Steve Rogers becoming a success story as Captain America, Isaiah Bradley never would have had to go through this abuse. So the fact that he sees the shield and the title of Captain America as something terrible is completely understandable. Yeah. Because in the comics, he was the Black Captain America. He stole one of Steve's uniforms, went on the suicide mission, and he had that title. He was known as that kind of as an urban legend. But in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, they flipped that on its head, because why would he want to be Captain America? Nothing good came from that for him. So absolutely. I thought that was great. I mean, the scene itself is probably one of the most intense scenes of the entire MCU. It was probably one of the most poignant and important, and like you said, Bryce, just real scenes of the MCU. Without that scene, you don't have this series.
Yeah, for sure. And then one other thing I was thinking, I'm curious to see what route they take with the Eli Bradley stuff. Because I mean, obviously we got a ton of Isaiah Bradley, which was great and so needed for this episode. But there is a grandson named Eli who is set to probably become a Young Avenger at some point, because they're obviously clearly setting up the Young Avenger.
What? No, I don't think so. That doesn't sound right.
Why?
Why?
I think what's going to be interesting too is I think Eli's going to not want to tell his grandfather. You know, I think if he wants to become Patriot, that is not something he's going to be wanting to share. I mean, even the name itself, Patriot, that's probably something that Isaiah would have issues with, because Isaiah's a Patriot. Isaiah is an American hero. He is like 100% should have been celebrated, and he wasn't. He was hidden away. He was
forgotten.
Yep, 100%, and he was not just forgotten; he was intentionally hidden away, which is
and abused, and I mean,
completely. But he says it himself. That's not new. That's something that's been happening to Black history in America since
for decades,
literally forever. So the fact that they brought that into it was important, and the fact that we had this scene, and the fact that Eli Bradley becoming a hero is going to be something that I think is going to be more fraught with conflict than when we initially would have expected, is a really important and interesting aspect. And Bryce, I thought your point about Sam's nephews was amazing. That was one of the most powerful moments, in my opinion, to see the nephews not only playing with the shield, but later just tracing the star on the shield, because it showed what the shield can mean without baggage. The shield without baggage is just a symbol of heroism.
And hope and everything,
100%. And we got to see these different generations and their take on the shield. And I thought what was so cool about Sam finally making this decision is it wasn't about anyone else. It was about Sam making the choice. It wasn't about Steve. It wasn't about Bucky. It wasn't about Isaiah even. It was about Sam deciding, this is what I want to do. This is what I can do to be a hero. And he's been doing the job since the pilot. So.
And I think, and I love that point you made. I don't think they could have had Sam Wilson become Captain America any better than how they did, because like you said, it wasn't because of Steve, it wasn't because of Bucky, and it wasn't because of Isaiah Bradley. Like, this was Sam Wilson saying to himself, I'm going to become Captain America because it's the right thing to do and because I can do some good with it. And then one other thing I want to mention too, on his journey to becoming Captain America, Pulp Fiction moment that we got at the very end of the episode with the box. And like, I mean, obviously it's going to be his suit and probably a new set of wings after, you know.
I don't think so. No, I think it's sneakers.
Okay.
All right, Shuri.
Okay.
All right, Shuri.
You think it's sneakers? Can you imagine? Like, what if they do? What if they seriously go and do like a Ralph Boner thing, where it's just something completely ridiculous? Like it's sneakers. Let's say that Bucky got him some new Wakandan sneakers, and and that's the big twist at the end.
My favorite meme I've seen about that is it's Sam looking into the box, and then it's open the box, and it's boom. You looking for this? With the roadie's face in there.
Nice. No, I mean we know it's the armor. We had the toy leak, so we know it's gonna be the armor. We know it's gonna be wings. But speaking of the wings themselves, the initial ones, they got handed off to Joaquin Torres, so it totally feels like we're setting up another one too, which is really exciting.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to see more of him because it's funny. As much as he has been a part of the series, he really hasn't had a lot of screen time. I mean, he was there in episode 1. He was only in like the opening scene of episode 2, and then we didn't see him for 2 straight episodes.
I love, by the way, that they reference the opening scene in episode 2 because when he sees Bucky, he goes, "You got your sleeve back."
That was great. That was amazing. I really hope he sticks around for a while. It seems like the people at Marvel love him. So
and he's got great chemistry with
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, now he's got some wings of his own, so I mean, yeah. I'm hoping. I can't wait to see what they do with those characters. Like, will they do a Falcon and the Winter Soldier season 2 or whatever they rename it? Because obviously
Captain America and Falcon.
Yeah, or
Captain America the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, if he's still around. But
I think you have a really good point about if he's still around because I think I hope Bucky's journey is not leading him to keep fighting because Bucky's entire life, he even said in the first episode, he's been fighting for 90 years. At this point, it just feels...
The dude needs a break.
Yeah.
The dude needs a vacation and somewhere that isn't Wakanda.
Well, he's not really
Steve
welcome
should have
at the
taken
moment.
him with him. I don't know what,
yeah.
like Bucky got the shit end of the stick there because I mean Bucky, had an entire life wasted too, and an entire life missed, and Steve's like, well, Bucky, I'm gonna see you later. He could have taken him with him, and so he could have lived out his life. It's just like,
right. Bucky needs some time off for sure.
What was so interesting about this episode, it was the first time Bucky wasn't selfish. He's been incredibly selfish throughout this series. First, when he's blaming Sam for not taking up the mantle of Captain America, he breaks Zemo out of prison knowing what that's going to mean. He's searching for the super soldier serum stuff, not necessarily because he's like, oh, the super soldier serum is going to lead to bad things, but it feels more like because of the connection to him. It very much seems like he's chasing his past, and he doesn't care what it does to other people. So in this episode, we finally really saw him kind of pull his head out of his ass on this. He got Zemo back to the Dora Milaje. He was actually sympathetic towards Sam and understanding. He listened to Sam's advice. And I love that he helped them with the boat. I thought that was great. It was another
that whole scene was
That was
great.
a great scene, yeah.
It was another moment of Bucky finding peace. And so I thought that was fantastic.
Bucky has a new little crush too. Yeah.
Don't flirt with my sister.
That was a great moment.
There's a couple of things I'll mention. Your point, Caitlin, about finally understanding Sam. I love the fact that it tied back to episode 1 too, because he actually explained when he was, asking Sam why he gave up the shield, why he was so mad about it. I think it finally started to make sense a little bit to Sam why Bucky was so upset about it, because it felt like, everything he did was for nothing, and it felt like he had lost his place in the world and his sense of self and everything. And I love too the fact that this episode we saw Bucky smile genuinely more than we probably have probably since the first Avenger. I mean, I love the moment when Sam's nephews are playing with the shield and he's just smiling at them, just shooing them away. That was great. The whole flirting with Sarah thing was hilarious. And one little other smaller moment before I stop, I love when he was fixing up the pipe and he's like, so why didn't you use the metal arm? And, I didn't mean to think of it. I'm right-handed.
Yes, that was amazing. Yeah, the episode, I mean, we said it on the stream. Initially, like, look, right afterwards, it was that moment of this felt a little slow because there wasn't as much action, but it really wasn't. It moved pretty well. You had a lot of stuff happen. It set up the board for what's going to happen in the future. We didn't see a lot of Carly Morgenthau, but what we did see is it looks bad. We didn't see a lot of Sharon Carter, but what we did see, it looks bad.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
That looks bad.
John Walker's definitely not in a good state at the moment. So, and then we had.
Yeah. So hold on. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about Sharon Carter real quick. Those
power broker theories aren't looking so crazy now.
Yeah, like what else could be going on? Like,
the only thing that gives me pause about it is why is she helping the Flag Smashers if she's power broker? Hadn't she been chasing them the entire time?
Exactly.
That's the only thing that gives me pause.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so weird. I have no idea what to think of that situation. I mean, I cannot wait for next episode because I'm assuming there's not a season 2 and we're not going to leave on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, even if there's a season 2, I don't see them doing a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see. Yeah. I think Sharon Carter is probably my most anticipated part of the next episode, and we've got a new Captain America. So
Jalen said that the scene that really got him pumped was the training that Sam had with the shield. That was amazing.
The Rocky scene. Oh my god.
Yeah, the 80s montage.
We finally saw someone learning how to use the shield. That was great.
Yes.
We've been saying that since like the second episode when John Walker just like uses it no problem. We're all going, how do you have this down? The fact that we saw Sam not good at
they're
it.
not going to show a clip of him messing up on Good Morning America.
I would love to see it smash him in the face.
Yeah.
That would be so great. And the thing I love too is like we were all wondering about that because the scene before it was just Bucky and Sam tossing it around with the protection and everything. And we realized when Sam was training that they were just like playing frisbee with it, basically. Yeah. Sam was really going hard with it. I love the fact that they showed him kind of messing up a little bit before he really got it going.
And the acrobatics are fantastic too.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was a great scene. I mean, the episode was full of just great scenes. Yeah. Take them out of the show itself and it still is amazing. So this was just a really cool episode. And yeah, I mean, Bryce, you got a point. Sharon Carter is like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's
seriously.
I mean, I honestly, I can't even begin to guess. I mean, I want to say Power Broker, but you're right. She's helping the Flag Smashers and Power Broker wouldn't want to do that. And I will say, now this could just be a diversion, but at some point Sharon Carter did refer to the Power Broker as he, I believe, in episode 4.
She did, but I wouldn't trust that.
Right. And I don't really trust it either, but that's just still something to throw out there.
There's also the possibility that Contessa Valentina is Power Broker.
That I wouldn't actually be shocked at if she ends up being Power Broker.
Because she knew that he took the Super Soldier Serum.
Totally.
So the fact that she recognized it might be part of that.
That's the only other person I could see being Power.
I'll be pissed if it's just some random person. They're like, "This is Power Broker." You're like, "Really?"
If they pull another Trevor Slattery on us.
That's the connection with Black Widow. Taskmaster was Power Broker.
That would actually be pretty dope.
But can you imagine though if that was actually it, but we hadn't seen Black Widow yet?
Right?
It's like, what's going on? Like,
yeah. I mean, side note, I can't wait for Taskmaster.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just want to say before we move on from Falcon Winter Soldier, do you guys have any predictions? What do you think is going to go down next episode?
Right. Actually, I was just forgetting. I had just forgot what I was going to say, but you just reminded me. So we're gonna. I think now is the point in the episode where we bet on Bucky's chances on living.
Survival chances.
Yeah, survival chances. Richard, I'll let you go ahead.
I'd say 65% yes.
He dies or survives?
Survives.
Okay.
I'd say 65% he lives, 35 dies.
I'm just gonna go 50-50. I'm gonna be boring. Right. Sorry.
You know what? I'm 50-50, but like maybe like 51.1 on the side of him dying.
51-49.
Yeah, if any of the main cast is going to die, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
So
I think that'd be a big move by Disney. I think
that
that'd
would
be a
be
big move.
huge.
Yeah. And I don't want it to happen.
No.
But I think it might. So I'm just kind of mentally preparing myself for that.
It feels definitely like a Tony Stark moment. You know, it's someone who has been fighting and looking to redeem themselves their entire life, essentially. But
my worry
it's that
with
moment of you can rest.
Yeah, my worry with that is I completely agree. And that's what I'm scared of is the fact is I'm afraid of us getting too many Tony Stark moments that it's not going to mean anything anymore.
Yeah. I will say this, Phase 4 has done a good job so far, I think, of avoiding Tony for the most part. There was, the little tease of him in WandaVision. They talked about the tech a little bit in the first episode of this show, but I think they've done a good job kind of avoiding Tony in Phase 4 so far.
He's going to be big in Phase 4. We have Ironheart, we have Armor Wars. I think
we just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to say, I mean, the thing about Phase 4 that's so cool is it really feels like it's a big thematic aspect of it is legacy after
for sure.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I think that is our big Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of breakdown for the penultimate episode, unless anyone in the chat thinks we missed anything, and we might have. I mean, it was a 60-minute episode.
I don't think we did talk about the post-credit scene.
Just a little bit, but
Home Depot Captain America?
Home Depot Captain America
Shout out
going.
to whoever said that in the chat during the watch.
Seriously.
Amazing.
I'm gonna go rewatch the chat, find where that says, and give you credit on the next watch along. I'm gonna try to do that before we go back on.
So good.
That was perfect.
Because I'm so curious about what metal he's using. It looks like scrap metal that he found in the junkyard, and he's just like, "This works. It's fine.
Like, it's fine.
I'll add my Medal of Armor. It's perfect." You're like,
right?
Okay.
It's not even shocking that he added his Medal of Honor. Like, he had to, right?
Yep. Entitlement and ego, man.
Yeah,
those
I'm
are
excited.
John Walker's superpowers.
I'm excited to see what we're gonna see from him in the final episode. I'm excited to see what we're gonna see from him in spin-offs. So I mean, more John Walker, I think, is a good thing. Not necessarily good for the characters in the universe, but good for us, because I mean Wyatt Russell has just done an incredible job as John Walker. I mean, he is an incredible villain.
I wouldn't put quotes around that. I think he's turned.
He's definitely villain. That's full on villain right now.
I mean, what's so cool too is like he auditioned for Captain America, right? Initially.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like
that was
he
one of
said
his first
earlier,
auditions.
Right, it's like what you said earlier when we were muted, Bryce. I can't see someone else playing U.S. Agent. Just like you can't really see someone else playing Steve Rogers Captain America. So I think that it worked out perfectly, exactly how it was supposed to with that situation.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I'm so excited to see him yelling at Sam, "I'm Captain America," and Sam just going, "Okay, don't care that much. Let's go fight bad guys."
Yeah.
Okay.
and then Sam's just gonna go, "And I'm Sam Wilson," and then whip him with his wing or something like.
Right. Totally.
I want to see U.S. Agent trying to rip those Wakanda vibranium wings, because that's not gonna work.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, there's definitely gonna be a scene of that. I never even thought of that. Like, he's definitely gonna try to do that, and it's not gonna work. It's gonna be really funny.
I think, because I'm really excited for the whole episode, but one of the things I'm excited to see too is the fallout of this finale in the larger MCU. Because you have like these terrorist flag smashers, you have the crazy ass Captain America, you have a new actual Captain America who I'm really excited isn't actually government sanctioned, because I feel like that is what Captain America should be. So, and depending on what happens to Bucky. So there's a lot of aspects of this that are going to be hugely important, I think, in future MCU stuff. And unlike WandaVision, we can't point to where it will be important.
For sure.
Yeah, well, does that wrap things up for
Falcon
and Winter Soldier today?
For Falcon and Winter Soldier now. We will have a mega breakdown next week, and I think it'll mostly just be screaming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully screaming with the audio on.
Yes. Hopefully
that
you hear
might
the
be
screams.
the one time you want us muted. It's just us screaming into the mic.
Yeah, I can't really disagree there.
I don't
great.
know. I feel like maybe in the watch along you guys will be screaming, but
Oh, for
I think
sure, for
once
sure.
it's all connected, we all kind of
Yeah.
had some time to process.
Think back to when the WandaVision finale, when Scarlet Witch went full Scarlet Witch. The screams that we had there. That'll probably be next week.
Oh
Yeah,
man, and I can't
have-
wait to see if we're gonna get there's a building. It's
I
zooming in
was
on the
about
building.
to say that. We're gonna
Right.
get the Richard
Oh, God.
describing the
You know what?
entire post
I
credit
have
scene.
learned from my mistakes. Damn it.
You
That
know what,
was
Richard?
great.
I don't think you should. I think you should go back and watch this post credit scene that's probably gonna be there and narrate the whole thing just for the bit. I
I'm
think
gonna have to go ahead and
he's
say
got
no
a hammer.
on that one.
There's some metal. Oh, it's the Medal of Honor.
Okay,
Oh,
right before
boy.
we move on, so sorry we said we're going to do about 3 times. I want to ask, what do you guys think the post-credit scenes will be? Because I'm going to guess there's 2.
I'm definitely thinking 2. I would say I'm thinking 1 with Val. That would be a good one for probably a Thunderbolts thing. Maybe that's where Ross shows up. And then probably 1 with Sam and Bucky, but I have no idea what's gonna happen with that.
No, there's gonna be one with Sam and Joaquin though.
That could be good.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a scene with him training Joaquin with the wings. I don't know about
Or maybe
Bucky.
they're fixing the wings.
I feel like even if Bucky survives, they've kind of gone their separate ways at this point. You know, I mean, I am assuming that Bucky will be at the final fight, but I think that was it felt like a goodbye, that scene, and that's what really kind of makes me go for Bucky.
Yeah. I mean, Bucky said he'll be there when he calls, but no, you're right. It very much felt like Bucky was finally ready to kind of actually move on.
Real quick before we go on, maybe something like Tony and Cap at the end of Age of Ultron, like when they kind of split off with each other.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we'll definitely get something with Val. I am curious if it's going to be U.S. Agent or Zemo.
Yeah, I think one's gonna be well, if there is 2. I think 1 would definitely be Sam Wilson Cap training the new Falcon, and then I think the other would be Thunderbolts. Easy.
So only other thing I'd maybe throw in is Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
and that's another
option
one. If it's not Joaquin Torres, it's Eli.
For sure.
I also think we're going to see Sarah just sailing away on the boat and going, I'm not dealing with this craziness.
If Bucky survives, hold on.
Just
if
Bucky and Sarah.
survives and Bucky's there, he's got his like arm around her, whatever.
Oh God! And Sam's like, Bucky!
he like flies by. He goes on your left and smacks him or something.
Smacks him. I want on your left, but smacks him in the head with the wing. Why haven't we had that yet?
Right. That would be perfect.
What if we actually just predicted that? Like what if we watch Falcon and Winter Soldier and that actually happens?
Well, we threw out like 10 predictions. One of them's got it.
No, but I want it to be that one.
Me too. I want that one more than anything.
That would be the best. That would be the best one, I think.
Agreed.
So that is our actual wrap up of the breakdown of the penultimate episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I think we've got some other news about Doctor Strange that's kind of in that same vein of wrapping things up. What do you think, Bryce?
Yeah, so Doctor Strange is wrapping things up. I didn't know that they even started, but they are wrapping up production on Doctor Strange. They've definitely been keeping this one quite secret. So that's definitely very intriguing. They're doing a lot better job than they are on Spider-Man. And I think there's going to be some heavy connections to Spider-Man there.
Sure.
So yeah, I think the secrecy is really getting me super excited for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, what do you think? What do you guys think of this? Like, do you think that I mean, obviously it's the Multiverse of Madness, so something huge is happening, but how huge are we talking?
I mean, I think the only things we really know is Wanda's going to be involved. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man No Way Home is going to come into play. And the multiverse is involved. But that's like the major things we know. Because they've been, this has probably been one of the most tight-lipped Marvel productions in the last while. I mean, I'm guessing.
Besides Endgame.
Yeah. like, so this is, I'm really excited because I got no idea. I mean, Shang-Chi was kind of in the same boat, but that was more of we didn't really know what to expect. Whereas this
it's
is
so new.
right, and this is this is a sequel, and so it's a sequel to Doctor Strange, but it's also just this culmination of a show and another, and like a Spider-Man movie too. So I think that's going to be really interesting. I really liked the logo on Kevin Feige's hat. That was something that got me pumped
So
up
good.
too.
Kevin Feige with the hat game again.
Right?
Yeah, he's got some really cool hats.
And as you
Yeah.
can tell from the
He
three of
should
us,
have
we're definitely
he should have like a
jealous.
Kevin Feige hat merch store or whatever.
Oh, that'd be great. Someday, yeah, just have the Kevin Feige section on Marvel's website.
The Kevin Feige collection.
Yes. But yeah, no, going off what you said, I mean, it is actually impressive how little has leaked from this movie. I mean, I say how little has leaked. Nothing has leaked from this movie, and it just finished shooting. I mean, considering what we've seen out of Spider-Man, stuff we've seen from Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision, I mean, we knew stuff about all of those before they come out, especially in the case of Spider-Man. And this is a highly anticipated sequel. I mean, like you guys said, we've got the multiverse stuff. We've got, I mean, Doctor Strange and Wanda coming together. I mean, this is going to be an absolutely crazy movie. And it is kind of a weird little trilogy forming between WandaVision, No Way Home, and this movie. So that's going to be so much fun to see when it comes out in a year.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how the Darkhold comes into play, because I think we can assume that has something to do with it, since we saw Wanda with that at the end. Sure. I think her kids are going to come into play in some way again, because we heard her, like, we heard them. We saw that she heard them at the end of WandaVision. Like, really our only clues to what's happening is it's a Doctor Strange movie, so magic-y stuff, and then things of like, okay, what we saw from WandaVision, and we know Wanda's going to have a, like, big part in this, so that has to have some connection. But it's nothing, like, we don't have major spoilers. We don't have things of like, oh, there's this villain, oh, there's this person, oh, this is coming into play. Like, we have some confirmation of returning characters from the first Doctor Strange movie and other Marvel characters that were kind of already announced by Marvel returning, but it hasn't been any major leaks. The fact that they're wrapping this and
with no leaks,
that's hugely impressive. And it also probably means big twists are coming.
Yeah, and one last thing I wanted to mention before you go, Bryce. Literally the only really big thing new that we know about it is that America Chavez is coming. I mean, she's going to be a big character because I think she's got a lot to do with like multiverse stuff, maybe time travel, dimension jumping stuff. But she's going to play a really big role in it, and I can't wait to see what they bring us in this movie.
100%.
I mean, Caitlin really said it. There's a really weird, odd, unexpected trilogy with WandaVision, No Way Home, and Doctor Strange. The just three of the weird, like Doctor Strange and Wanda, I could see, but then the
two
weird
movies
Spider-Man
and a Disney Plus
connection.
show, and from three different franchises.
Yeah,
well, Spider-Man needed a new Tony Stark relationship, so he needed to find the right jerk.
I will say I did love Doctor Strange and Spidey in Infinity War. I mean, they had some of my favorites. What is he?
Oh, we're using our made-up names. I'm Spider-Man.
That was great.
Oh man, was that one of the scenes in the trailer too?
It was, but they changed it a little bit for the movie. Doctor Strange is a little more pissed at Spidey when he said it in the movie.
But yeah, I remember seeing that in the trailer. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. But
that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange. Obviously Sam Raimi is directing this, a horror director, but also a Spider-Man director. And this this comes out after Spider-Man, correct?
Yes.
So this leads off of Spider-Man, No Way Home, in which Tobey Maguire is like 99% in that movie, and I've been seeing weird rumors on the internet like that they're thinking about doing another Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, and it's so weird that it sounds
they've been
like
talking
Sony
about that for
like
10 years now.
Yeah, but this time they're actually gonna do it, and it's like it sounds weird enough that I believe it because it's Sony. Yeah. I mean, Sam Raimi. I mean, it's really cool to see him get back in the comic book movie genre, and it really gets me excited too to see some of the horror aspects in this movie, because Kevin Feige called this movie the first Marvel horror movie whenever they first announced it. And so, I mean, we're definitely going to get a lot of horror elements from this horror director in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And I think that's something to really look forward to as well.
Yeah, and we said it on last week's It's All Connected. We love seeing the superhero genres like jump into other genres and play in those areas too. So that's a really exciting part of it. Also, just horror directors seem to do really well with superhero movies.
Honestly, yeah.
They really do. Scott Derrickson was a horror director too, and he did the first Doctor Strange.
James Wan with Aquaman, the director of The Flash. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
The Flash. The Flash director did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And you know what? One of my favorite full circle moments with Sam Raimi before we move on is the fact that in Spider-Man 2, there was a moment where J. Jonah Jameson and actually Sam Raimi's brother were talking about names for Doc Ock, and he's like, Dr. Octopus, that's crap. Science Squid, crap. Doctor Strange, that's pretty good. But it's taken. Like, that's one of my favorite moments. And then now Sam Raimi is directing a Doctor Strange movie. An awesome moment.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely very cool.
Yeah, so obviously we're really excited about Doctor Strange. Sadly, we don't have a lot of information about it.
No.
Because like we said, there have been a lot of leaks. But we do have a show that has had some major leaks. Richard, do you want to talk about the newest What If leaks?
I mean, absolutely crazy. I mean, this is going to be, like we said, Marvel's first animated show. I cannot wait. MCU animated show. Yes. Because there's like MODOK and stuff like that. But this show is going to be crazy. We got some leaks for like potential looks at what some of these characters are going to look like. Some of them that have been confirmed, obviously, are T'Challa as Star-Lord, Peggy Carter as Captain Britain. But these leaks are crazy. We got looks at Gamora looking like Thanos, Loki in his full armor. We got a new version of Ultron, the Collector.
Collector's looking buff.
Yeah, we got the Hulkbuster armor with some crazy colors in it. I mean, I don't know what to expect from this show, but this one's going to be absolutely nuts.
Definitely. And I mean, what's so cool too is the Hulkbuster armor. It looks like obviously it's hard to tell, but it very much looks like it might be Bucky in it or someone similar.
It's really blurry, so it's hard to tell, but it could be any of them with dark hair.
And a scruff, like a beard.
And a scruffy beard, yeah.
And then what's interesting about Ultron is Ultron, very cool, but also when his shield is his mask is up, there's a red tint. So does it mean it's the energy source or is it Vision? Is Ultron?
Ooh. Plus the cape.
Yep. Yeah, he's got the cape too.
I didn't even think about that. That'd be crazy. What if this is the Vision that Ultron intended from Age of Ultron, fully complete?
Yeah.
I love how you started that sentence with "what if" while talking about what if.
Very nice. And there was also
solid. Good catch,
there was also another toy leak with Lego leaks that pointed to another indicator of a Thanos version of Gamora, which just really interesting. And then
super weird.
Bryce, you had mentioned last week, what if we get a different version of Spider-Man? Well, with the Lego leak, it looks like we will with Steve Rogers.
See, I haven't seen this. So what? so.
What if?
Yeah.
I had to get you back.
So wait, is this like a red, white, and blue Spider-Man, like Captain Spider-Man or something?
They haven't had any images revealed. It's I think a list that got leaked on.
Oh, so it's just a list.
Descriptions. Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, the leak, it's
I'm
not 100% confirmed or anything, but really interesting concept.
Steve Rogers Spider-Man. I never thought that we'd be talking about that on the show.
What version of Steve Rogers too? Is it Steve Rogers that's
Skinny Steve?
Yeah, I mean that's the one that makes sense to me because he gets bit by a spider instead of getting the super soldier serum. He's still gonna have the abilities and kind of be healed. It's just he's also Bryce.
And then there's the fact that Spider-Man really isn't that big of a hero in terms of size compared to.
I had to do it, man.
I love how Richard just keeps going on as if I just didn't get completely burned right there.
I didn't want to pile it on. But, you know what? We have done a ridiculous job of birding each other on this show. Is this
this is a no? This
it's
is
all connected
this is
to
a
roast?
Caitlin thing. this never happened. I wouldn't say it never happened whenever Corbin was on the show, but this became a lot more prevalent of a theme on the show once Caitlyn came on. I think this is all Caitlyn's fault. And you know, I don't really know how to feel about it. You know, no, I'm kidding. But yeah,
yeah, we
I
all love each other.
especially have been absolutely drilled. Was this like? Did we talk about like? Was this whenever we were muted the last time I got completely owned this episode? Like whenever we were talking about how Steve Rogers is 5'4", 90 pounds.
Yeah, you kept reacting. That's why I had to say Steve size. That's why I had to say Bryce size. But anyways,
I don't know. I just didn't. I just couldn't remember if that was one of the parts that got muted because oh man, that was gold. I'm gonna actually be really upset if that was one of the parts that got muted because that was so funny whenever you guys were just getting into me.
Ridiculous. Oh my god.
But man, I mean, we're going to see the Collector, so that's really cool because that means, like, we kind of already knew we were going into the cosmic area with T'Challa as Star-Lord, but is the Collector going to be in that episode, or are we just going to see an entire what-if episode really involving the Collector, and how is that going to play out? We have a Thanos Gamora. I mean, that's like the complete opposite of everything we know about Gamora. She hates Thanos. She would never want to be that. So in what universe, like, what happens in that universe where she possibly takes on his legacy, because we don't know how it works out with that. Like Steve Rogers Spider-Man, we already said that's going to be kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, this series is, you take the Infinity Saga and throw out everything we thought we knew about it. I mean, just for the trailer, we got enough. But now with all these leaks and stuff, I have no idea what to expect going forward. But I can't wait to find out.
I think that's why leaks work for this show.
Yeah, because they're so unbelievable sometimes.
It doesn't reveal anything. I mean, the Ultron one is a great example. We're going, is that Vision? Is that just a different version of Ultron? What's going on?
We have no idea what's the Gamora one is the Gamora one because she looks like Thanos. That's clear. But there are other ones where we have no idea what's going on.
Captain America, Spider-Man, apparently. Like
exactly.
If it is Vision, what voice is it?
Paul Bettany or James Spader?
Right?
For sure.
I think it's got to be Bettany.
Or like a weird combination. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be super creepy.
Well, and the thing that's interesting about Thanos Gamora, she was in the poster we talked about, I think last week. The Guardians of the Multiverse. So do we have a Thanos Guardian of the Multiverse? How does that work?
Super weird.
Yeah, so no, what if, I mean, kind of oddly, like this really cool dichotomy between it and Doctor Strange. We have a lot more leaks. We still have no clue what's going on.
We know as much about What If as we do about Doctor Strange, which is basically nothing.
I feel like we should know more because we have so many of these. But...
Right? We should, but we don't.
Oh, man. I'm so excited for What If. I mean, like, you get to do whatever you want. This is just such a cool, this is such a cool show because you really get to play in these corners of, as the title says, what if this happened?
What if we did this? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of those shows where I'm like, this is like probably one of the most evergreen MCU shows. They can go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I hope it does.
Me too.
Me too.
We're really excited to have like the return of a lot of these actors that we just love from the MCU, including characters that are gone. Because as we saw in the first trailer, Tony Stark's there, and I miss Tony Stark.
Yeah, especially like eating a donut inside of a donut, Tony Stark.
Right? Completely. Yeah, so no, I'm really excited about What If. This is what we know. This is like what we know so far, but hopefully more is to come, especially since it's supposed to be coming out sometime this summer.
Right.
And we've got some news on another Disney show.
Yes.
Very much a show about mystery as well. Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is setting up to be huge, and this casting news definitely adds to that. We've got Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke joining the cast. Now, their roles haven't technically been revealed, but we at the Illuminerdi did have an exclusive not too long ago about 3 characters that they were casting for Secret Invasion, and 2 of them definitely sound like the right fit for these actresses. So that's a really cool thing. The descriptions were female role played by someone who appears to be between the ages 40 and 50 years old, who will also be a series regular and share many scenes with Jackson's Nick Fury. So Olivia Colman, that definitely seems to fit. And then an important supporting role in the show to be played by a younger female actor, Emilia Clarke.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you get the leading actress from Game of Thrones in the MCU. You're going somewhere good, I think.
Yeah, and Olivia Colman, she's an award winner. You know,
Oh, yeah.
She's not like no one to just kind of scoff at. She's very impressive.
No.
She's done drama. She's done comedy. Just the actress herself is freaking hilarious. So no, I'm excited to see where we go with this. Are they Skrulls? Are they not? What's going to happen? But no, I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, like they're beefing up the cast, and it looks like really good additions. So. No, I'm excited. I mean, Secret Invasion is really, I think we talked about a little bit last week on the watch along. It really feels like it's setting up to be kind of the Disney Plus's Avengers.
It very well could be.
You know, because like we said earlier, it seems like Monica Rambeau could show up based on the post-credit scene. I would not be shocked to see Julia Louis-Dreyfus show up in it. So it really feels like we're going to kind of see a lot of these characters we've met come into this show, which will be very interesting and very cool. Plus, it's a Nick Fury show. How can you go wrong?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely excited to see Samuel L. Jackson finally take a starring role in a Marvel project. I think it's really cool. I definitely didn't expect it to be this. But I'm kind of happy it is. Like, you know, it's so weird, but it's going to be great. Like, you know, like it's just like I would not have ever guessed in a million years that the Nick Fury Disney Plus show was going to be Secret Invasion, but it's going to be awesome because it's Secret Invasion. I'm just really excited. I'm really intrigued to see what the MCU spin on it is, because obviously it's not going to be like Secret Invasion in the comics where, oh, surprise, Captain America was a Skrull the whole time, and, you know, because, you know, they're not going to, they can't do that for multiple reasons, but, but.
Well, just the fact alone that not all Skrulls are evil in the MCU is different.
Yeah,
exactly.
For sure. So.
Yeah. Although, I can see them pulling a moment, maybe like what they did with Cap in Endgame, the Hail Hydra thing when he was in the elevator. that would be so cool. I love, that's one of my favorite moments from Endgame. But, and like you were saying, Bryce, I mean, Sam Jackson technically has been in the MCU longer than anybody except Paul Bettany. Like, he's been there since the first Iron Man, and this is his first leading role as Nick Fury. I mean, give me Sam Jackson as Nick Fury.
Nick Fury was in Iron Man, right?
He was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Post-credit scene. That was the very first one.
So they're both in it for equal time then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then he had a bigger part in Iron Man 2 also before the Avengers.
Yeah. So
and I thought Nick Fury was great in Captain Marvel, and I'm excited that we're going to see some of those characters are the ones that he's interacting with here.
For sure. I love the relationship between him and Talos. Like, Talos is quickly becoming one of my favorite MCU characters, and I can't wait for more of him.
I loved in the last Spider-Man movie when it's revealed that it was Nick Fury, and he's like, I don't think we did that right.
You know, I think we did pretty good. You did well, and that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a really funny moment. I mean. The sad thing about that scene is that would have been like the scene that everybody was talking about, but Spider-Man also had the J. Jonah Jameson scene, and
to me that's the best post-credit scene in MCU history, possibly.
It's got to be. I mean, nothing's ever gonna beat it, because I mean, my jaw literally, like, if it could go down that far, it dropped to the floor. Like I could not believe what I was watching. The fact that they were able to keep that a secret, and I had no idea. Like, oh my gosh, what an incredible moment seeing J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson again. That was awesome.
Well, here's my question. Well, of course, like, come on.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Who do you guys think is going to be revealed to be a Skrull? Do you think there's going to be characters that we've known for essentially the entire Infinity Saga that have actually been a Skrulls the whole time?
It'd be big if they went there. I mean, I wouldn't put it out of the question, but I don't know who.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to do something like that. But I think it's got to be someone more minor. But I don't know who that could be. Like, I would say Maria Hill, but they already kind of did that in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I don't know who it could be. I mean, I feel like they've got to do it. They've got to do someone major.
For
Yeah,
sure.
you have to have someone because otherwise it takes away the impact.
Right.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
just don't know who it's gonna be. Like we're saying like throughout the entirety of the MCU, they've been a Skrull this whole time.
For 13, 14
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, and you
I
also have the
just don't.
question of what side are they on?
Exactly. And that's, I think, the thing that's interesting me the most about the series is, like you said, in the comics, it's Kree versus Skrulls, and you don't know which Skrulls are where, and they're mostly all evil. But I like the fact that there's at least one good faction of Skrulls in this show, like led by Talos. And that could cause some real tension between just the Skrulls themselves.
Yep, definitely. No, I think I mean, so far it feels like Marvel's DC, I'm sorry, DC, but Disney Plus shows are just like, they're all winners. There's
Yeah.
none of them
Oh,
where
yeah.
I'm going, really?
There hasn't been a bad episode of Disney Plus in the MCU yet.
Definitely. So no, I'm really excited about it. And we did talk a little bit about the last Spider-Man movie, and we've got some pretty major Spider-Man news. So I am going to let you two take that away because I know you are beyond excited to talk about it.
Yeah. So what are we going over first? Are we going over the leaks or
The
the
leaks,
I
yeah.
think
I
we
was thinking,
gotta.
I think we
The
gotta do
leaks.
the leaks first.
Okay. Yeah, let's do the leaks then. So, someone, an anonymous, or not an anonymous user, a Reddit user by the name of Spidey Forever 245, recently went on to the site, claiming to know some stuff that is going to go on in Spider-Man No Way Home. He claims to have been a crew member, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna kind of list these off here. By the way, major spoiler warning for No Way Home. We don't know if this is true or not.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Please mute yourself if you don't want spoilers because
Yeah,
this is
I'm
a
gonna go ahead and
huge
actually
leak.
just do the liberty for you and mute the entire stream.
And
Yeah.
also, don't take these for granted because, I mean, obviously, we have no way of finding out until December.
Right.
But do
Huge
take
grain
this
of
with a grain of
salt.
salt.
Huge
Exactly.
grain of salt. It's
Rumor
it's a
territory.
Reddit leak.
Rumor territory, but be sure to be warned. This could be
Be
a
careful.
movie. Spoilers ahead.
And I will
Movie.
say of the leak,
Sorry, go
nothing
ahead.
about it. Well, I'm just saying, like we're definitely saying take with a grain of salt. It isn't confirmed. I will say though, it doesn't seem like any of it is really outside the realm of possibility.
Right.
Yeah, I can't argue there.
So, starting off the top, the movie starts off where Far From Home ended, and there is a time skip. We don't really know how much. I can't imagine it being too big of a time skip.
I would guess he's on the run.
Right. Peter's in
2 weeks or
court, and there's a lot going on. He's trying to prove his innocence. Doctor Strange calls out that there's something going on, and the multiverse is breaking.
What?
Yeah.
No.
That's insane.
That
Also,
doesn't make any sense.
Drinking game for any of you guys out there watching this, anytime we've done that. What? No.
Why would the multiverse be breaking? They haven't teased that at all. Ugh.
So
Anyways.
villains are going around from other worlds into the others. Doctor Strange is trying to capture them and put them in a special prison made by him. The villains somehow escape, but Peter, Tom Holland's Peter, messes with stuff. Probably the Sanctum Sanctorum. Do we want to talk about that real quick?
That totally tracks to me. That if this is true, it's Peter that accidentally lets out all the villains.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gotta be. It's his movie, right? So.
Yeah. Well, also,
Not
that
even
would
just
totally
that.
that would totally match up with Tom Holland accidentally spoiling stuff like early on in his MCU career, right? Right? It would totally be a real life connection.
Yeah.
It also feels like Thor in the Sanctum Sanctorum, where he
Yes!
falls Mjolnir. It blows through the entire place. Like that
Oh,
feels
God.
like the whole vibe of, I'll press this button. Oh no,
Yeah.
what happened?
Like, literally, I wanted to, before you keep going, Bryce, I want it to be so that Doctor Strange is the only person in the MCU who can actually function in the Sanctum Sanctorum and not screw anything up in there.
100%. Yep. Can't move.
Yes.
Oh man. But yeah, so Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. What? are in the second and third act of the movie. How they met or how they come into Tom Holland's world is unknown. They both help him capture the villains. There are scenes in the movie with just Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield alone. That's really cool.
Wow.
I'm really excited to see if that's true.
I think it'd
Because
be amazing if they were doing their Spider-Man thing and literally ran into each other.
Right? That'd be great.
that'd be great.
Very
Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Totally.
The movie's final act is on the Statue of Liberty that now looks like a big Captain America with the shield.
I'll be honest, that seems like the most weird outside of
me too. Yeah.
But we did see that picture of the image of the Statue of Liberty on a bus stop with the Captain America shield. So
yeah,
maybe.
true. That just like out of everything we've heard, that was the one to me where I was like, really?
Yeah, I know, and which is crazy because I mean, we're reading this off in the Statue of Liberty looking like Captain America is the most bizarre out of all of this.
seriously,
Hilarious. All of the villains are there with Tom Holland Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Stark's arc reactor is present in the scene, and every villain is trying to get their hands on it for something. This part is not very clear, he says. All of the villains are defeated and put back in the prison, in Doctor Strange's prison, except for Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, which is interesting. But Green Goblin kills someone major. The person is the person is not sure on who it could be, but Tom Holland's Peter Parker was crying and enraged. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna guess it's Doctor Strange because timeline-wise, that makes the most sense.
Goblin, you're.
It took me a second.
You literally just destroyed my brain.
Just a goddamn second.
You sounded so serious, and I'm looking at the article so I can't see your face.
That's what's gonna happen.
I'm sorry, I had to.
You know what this is? That whole thing where we were muted for 20 minutes just threw us all for a loop.
Clearly, I'm lying. If anyone,
I still have to process that.
Spider-Man No Way Home takes place before.
Give Bryce a second. Oh my
Okay.
god.
All right.
So for anyone watching, I was being completely sarcastic.
So,
Wow.
who do we actually think it is?
Maybe Mayor MJ. I don't know if they would kill MJ, but
I don't want it to be MJ.
I could see him killing one of the other Spider-Mans.
Ooh, that could be
Yeah,
interesting.
I think it would be Garfield, if it were one of the other Spider-Mans.
Yeah, or one of the other Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, but it has to be someone close to Tom.
Again.
You know.
Right, fair point.
So
fair
I
point.
think it could be I really maybe what if it's Happy?
We'll talk about that later, but that could be
so mean.
that'd be so
I
messed
don't think it would be MJ.
No.
I don't.
Ned?
Ned would be another big one. I think
they kill
Ned or
Ned-
Happy.
I don't want them to.
No,
think-
me neither. I love Ned.
Because I just don't know where else they go with Happy is the thing.
Yeah, unless he actually gets with Aunt May.
And Peter would be enraged over Happy.
Oh yeah, because they've grown pretty close over the last couple of movies.
They're really close now, and so I think Happy would be a really good choice. I mean, if they're killing someone off, I think Happy would be. No offense. I mean, obviously Jon Favreau is amazing as Happy, but Jon Favreau is also a really busy person.
Yeah.
He's got like a million other projects on his plate. So
there are so many franchises that owe their thanks and gratitude to Jon Favreau. I think he's doing pretty damn well.
I just don't see where else the MCU goes with Happy Hogan. And
but how do you kill off Jon Favreau when he started the MCU?
That would be so messed up.
Yeah,
No,
but I think he'd be
choice,
okay
though.
with it. You know, I mean, obviously I'm not Jon Favreau, so I don't know what he would think. But
yeah, I think Happy or one of the Spider-Mans would be like the most logical choice to me.
So,
sure.
And then this is kind of crazy. Tom Holland, Peter Parker, tries to kill the Green Goblin, but is not successful in doing so in the end. And the movie ends with Peter finishing high school and not clear on what happened to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And that's pretty much it.
That feels
Yeah.
so weird to me that he's just gonna go back to high school. Like that is his answer to everything weird is he goes back to high school. I'm like, get your GED. Get out of
Yeah,
there,
He
man.
could
like
probably
at the end of
graduate early
Endgame.
and go to college and
Yeah,
everything.
at the end of Endgame, like after he had been blipped for 5 years, he's just like, well, gotta go back to school.
Right?
Right?
Sup, Ned? Like,
Oh man. Yeah. And also one thing I want to happen just personally in Spider-Man 3, I mean, props to Jacob Batalon for losing
oh my
an
gosh.
insane amount of weight. We didn't get to
Yes.
talk about this because I think that happened before we started It's All Connected. He lost probably like 100 pounds worth of weight, but what I want to happen, I don't want them to even mention it like at all. I just want Jacob Batalon to show up how he looks now, and that's just, how it is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it also makes me wonder, like, is there going to be action scenes with him? Like, I mean, obviously, it's very possible he just lost
Yeah.
the weight because he wanted to,
Oh, absolutely.
which is just as cool,
For
right?
sure.
But is there will there be action scenes with Ned?
For
I
sure.
would hope he'd just be like running away and throwing things at them.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I am the man in the chair. Stop it.
Ned is seriously one of my favorite side characters in the whole MCU.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
for
great.
sure.
But I mean, honestly, though, I mean, regardless of the reason that he lost all the weight, I mean, huge props. I mean, that is not an easy thing to do.
Damn.
So, I'm obviously small and frail, as we've said on the show already.
I don't know that was actually brought up.
But
God.
so I don't really know what it's like to lose weight. In fact, I would love to learn how to gain weight. That'd be nice. But but I mean, but I know I've heard from plenty of other people that it is a near impossible task for a lot of people. But
Yeah,
so
major props.
regardless of whatever the circumstance, I mean, and a huge props. I mean, that's an amazing feat for him. So.
Yeah, and so like we said before, take these leaks with a grain of salt for sure. It is a
serious grain of salt.
Reddit leak, so I think we would classify this as a rumor more than anything else.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But assuming for whatever's sake, just for a second that it is true, and somebody does die, like I think I'm like 90% unhappy now. Like,
well, that makes me sad.
well, it's got to be someone. It's got to be either for him to get enraged. It has to be either May, MJ, Ned, or Happy.
I mean, I could see it being one of the Spider-Mans though, because like take Spider-Verse for example. Like Miles Morales, like he didn't know Spider-Man for like what 10 seconds, and then he died. And that was a huge
moment.
Yeah, so that wouldn't shock me.
I just don't think that the other Spider-Man would give that kind of emotion.
I think it depends how long he knows them in the movie.
We'll see.
Because if they're
I think it has to be a really long-standing character. And I think the perfect person to kill off to where he's not going to be in any other stuff besides Spider-Man that we know of. Jon Favreau is so busy with Star Wars and, I don't know, probably Lion King 2 or something. And so, I mean, he is a highly sought-after director. I just think that, without Tony, there's not really much for Happy to do anymore. And so I think he's the most logical to kill him.
No, I totally get where you're coming from. I would like to see him in Armor Wars, though. I think him and Rhodey would be a really interesting dynamic, because we haven't really seen them interact, even though they're both like Tony's best friends.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that'd be interesting. But no, I totally get where you're coming from. But as we've said, I think 4 times, grain of salt for sure. Yep. Really cool rumor, but we do have some information about Spider-Man No Way Home that is actually confirmed, though. Right, Richard?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this has been rumored since, December, November or so. Alfred Molina officially confirmed that he is going to be playing Doc Ock in Spider-Man No Way Home. And not just that, it's the Doc Ock directly from the end of Spider-Man 2 in the river scene with Peter Parker and MJ. Now, obviously, we have no idea how he's going to get from the end of that movie into this one. I mean, it's going to probably have to be at some point from earlier in the scene when he's still a villain. But he did say he's going to be de-aged to look the way he did in 2004. I mean, this movie, like we've said the whole time, is going to be absolutely insane. And I mean, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is regarded as not only one of the best Spider-Man villains ever, but one of the best comic book movie villains ever.
For sure.
And him in the MCU is going to be something special.
I also love that he like confirmed it in an interview, because I'm just sitting here going, I don't think you're supposed to do that, man.
Yeah, his publicist must be going absolutely bonkers right now.
He's like, Tom Holland does it, it's fine.
You know, I could actually legitimately see him saying that.
You know, I'm actually
Holland did it, so
I'm kind of worried about that on a project that you two know that I'm working on, but nobody else knows about. Yeah, I'm kind of worried that I'm gonna be like the Tom Holland and just like be like spoiling everything, you know.
Well, let's make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, I'm gonna you two
Getting
are gonna
off
be
that.
you two are gonna be my publicists, and so you guys just got a new job.
We'll be the Benedict Cumberbatch to your Tom Holland.
Yes.
Bryce, just show us how to mute you, and we'll make sure to do it.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Every time I go in, every time I talk to somebody about the project I'm working on, well, they'll just mute my mic.
Yeah, because I mean, you know how to do that on purpose, right?
That's and I did it on purpose for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have no idea what even happened. I still
they like save our lives is what happened.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like if Jalen, shout out to Jalen in the chat. Like if he didn't say anything, like we would have done the whole show completely muted. So shout out to Jalen. He say the only reason why you guys are watching this episode right now is because of Jalen. So thanks to Jalen for that. But
yeah, but so Alfred Molina showing up for sure is very cool. Like you said, Richard, we know he's coming from the end, so we don't know if it's good guy or bad guy, which is really
he was both in that scene.
Yeah, I think that should be an interesting turn of events. I think it would be really cool if he was actually the good guy version and he was kind of helping them out.
Yeah. It's gonna be really weird because I mean I don't think they're gonna do the good guy. I mean I think they're bringing back these villains to be villains, but I feel like I almost don't want that though, because I mean he had incredible development there at the end, and that scene with him and Peter and him sacrificing himself to save Peter was beautiful, and I feel like this kind of rewinding on that a little bit, and I don't really know if that's the right move.
Well, they could play it where we actually like it's one of those retcon moments where this movie is part of why he gets to that point. Like maybe he got grabbed and put back in the exact same spot, and so this is part of what made him make that decision.
That could be great. Like maybe right after Peter threw him and he got knocked out for a second, like right before Peter revealed himself to be Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That could be super cool.
Okay, so you're saying, hold on. Okay, so you're saying that this, like, he gets taken like in the middle of like Spider-Man 2 or something, and then the events of No Way Home are what drives him crazy.
No, I'm saying that ending scene where he decides to
like in the middle of that scene,
sacrifice himself. Like, because the way time travel tends to, like, I'm not going to get into the Marvel time travel stuff, but in other time travel shows, a lot of times if you grab someone and you put them back in the same spot, you can kind of pull it off. So it could be something where the events in No Way Home have another piece of why he decides to sacrifice himself.
But if we're going, I mean, again, it's just a leak, but if we're going off the leak, all the villains are put into a special prison, right?
Yeah.
Even if that's true, how do we know what the special prison is? Is it an actual physical prison, or is it a prison of their mind where they don't know how to escape from their universe?
Is it a magic prison?
Yeah. Because if you just take people out of their... If you just take someone out of their universe, you're going to have like ripple effects, and I don't think Doctor Strange is someone that's going to be like, yeah, this will be fine.
I am still just a little worried because Doc Ock had a really great, phenomenal ending in Spider-Man 2. And I really just don't want them to backtrack on that, but it really sounds like that they are.
It does. The way he was talking about it in the interview, he wasn't. He was talking about his like how he can do the evil Doc Ock face.
And I was just kind of assuming that this was just another version of Doc Ock that happened to be Alfred Molina.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just kind of like how J. Jonah Jameson is another version of J. Jonah Jameson that happens to be played by J.K. Simmons.
Unless that's the first hints of the multiverse breaking apart.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, you know, we're just going down some crazy, you know, multiversal loop that wormhole that we're not going to be able to get out of.
Well, and I will say before we get off Spider-Man, it was I think exclusively revealed by Murphy's Multiverse that Jon Favreau was returning as Happy, which wasn't hugely shocking news. I'm more interested in what that means. Is he happy as in helping Peter Parker? Is he happy with
dying at the end of the movie?
Or happy like staying with Aunt May while Peter's on the run?
Oh my gosh, yes. I think I said it in the chat. I want a Disney Plus show that's just like a family sitcom with Aunt May and Happy Hogan.
Like the WandaVision sitcom stuff, but with, Happy and May.
And like and they're like they're helping Peter with his homework and
oh god.
Except they aren't helping because Peter's a genius.
Right?
Well, there's got to be something that Peter's bad at. Like maybe like
girls
English.
talking to people.
Yeah, English or speech. They could be helping out with the speech.
Yeah,
because Happy's been great at that the whole time he's been in the MCU.
Oh yeah, but I mean, and like we said, it's not shocking because Jon Favreau has been in both of the other Spider-Man movies so far, so it'd be kind of shocking to not see him. But it was cool to get it officially confirmed.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's our major Spider-Man No Way Home news for now. We will undoubtedly have more.
Yeah,
probably next week.
We'll probably. I remember before Caitlin was on the show and we were talking about all of the Zack Snyder's Justice League stuff. Like I was telling Richard, like the only thing that has to leak at this point is the movie itself, and then it did. So we're honestly getting to the point with Spider-Man to where the only once the trailer comes out, the only thing that we haven't seen yet from this movie is going to be the movie itself.
But regardless, this movie's going to be absolutely nuts.
Yeah, sure. Very stacked cast, and really interested to see how it leads into Doctor Strange too, because I think that'll be very cool. I think that's our Spider-Man news for now, but we are not done with the Marvel news yet because we finally got. Come on, Richard. What do we
have
get?
A new trailer.
Yes.
Oh my God! This is the first time in God knows how long.
All right, guys, we're an hour and 45 into the show, and we finally got to the thumbnail.
Yep, we finally have.
That doesn't count.
Well, yeah, 20 minutes of that doesn't count.
So an hour 25, but we finally have our first trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And
hold on, it is pronounced Shang-Chi, not Shang-Chi.
Yes.
That's how I've heard Kevin Feige say it. So
we all have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how Kevin Feige said it. So that's what I'm going with.
Yep.
Okay.
But I mean, before we get into the actual trailer stuff, I love the fact of how they announced it because it was Simu Liu's birthday yesterday. It was his 32nd birthday, and he got to debut the poster, the first official poster for the movie. And then he said, trailer will be coming for a few weeks or whatever. An hour later, we got the trailer.
And it was great because Marvel's like, happy birthday. And he's like, what?
He's like, oh my God.
What? Oh, I see what you did. Definitely went up to him in the best way possible.
Seriously. I mean, what did you guys think about the trailer? I mean, that movie looks like it's going to be something super cool in the MCU.
Yeah.
It looks epic. I mean, we're getting like martial arts. We're getting, it looks like some kind of like tournament style thing. We're going to get not only like what he's going through present day, we're going to get like these flashbacks. It looks like we have the family drama of the fact that his dad is the leader of the 10 rings. Like
a real Mandarin.
Yeah, the real one.
So many pieces to it. Plus, trailer alone, I love the like friendship that his character and Awkwafina's character has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's going to be a fun relationship. Yeah.
10 seconds of the trailer, but it was great. It's like you get immediately that they're ride or die, which props to Awkwafina's character, Katie, because I would not be.
I'm not sure if any of us would be ride or die in the MCU.
No, I mean, action, it looks just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a lot of story stuff in this trailer, which is a Marvel trailer, so we weren't going to.
Kind of did. I mean, we found out that he's had these 10 years to really like live a normal life in America.
We got more than we thought we would, I think.
Definitely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm just kind of comparing it. I'm not necessarily comparing it to other Marvel trailers, but just other movie trailers. I mean, Marvel is really, held back with their marketing, and so I mean, we truly, we didn't get to see a lot. I mean, did we even get to see the suit?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. That, well, then,
for a couple
whoops.
seconds, yeah.
But
It's also in the it's the poster.
yeah, I know it's the
It is
poster,
the poster,
but
yes,
Okay.
yes.
but yeah, but but yeah, the action. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be something incredible. It's definitely gonna be on par with the stuff that we've seen from Daredevil. So I
Yeah.
mean, and that's saying something. So I'm really excited to see the action in the movie. I really love. I was this like it was in the comics. I mean, is Shang-Chi always the son of the Mandarin?
I don't think that is exactly like what it was from the comics. I actually think
Yeah.
they
I don't
kind
think
of
so either.
I
So I
think they
think that's an
combined his
interesting.
father's character and the Mandarin, which
I
is
think that's a
very cool.
really interesting twist. So
For
Yeah,
sure.
I'm really excited to see the dynamic between those two as well.
Yeah, because as you know, not just the MCU, but all comic book movies are loosely or tightly based on the comics. And I think we can all agree that I'm really glad it's not a direct, retelling of it from the page to the screen, because
Mhm.
then you just know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like nobody's seen a lot of what has happened in the MCU, and I think that's going to be the same thing for this movie, which is making me more excited for it.
And what's also awesome about this movie, and we've said it before about a lot of movies like Black Adam, Daredevil, like not Daredevil, I'm sorry, Deadpool. It's
Deadpool,
that
yeah.
everyone involved in this is so passionate about it. The director had said
Yes.
before that he was never going to do a Marvel movie, and then he found out they were doing Shang-Chi, and he threw his hat in the ring.
Yeah.
Simu, am I saying that
Lou.
right? Lou?
Yeah, Simu Liu, I think.
He's like beyond excited. He's
Yeah.
been like tweeting at Marvel for years that he wants to be a
His
superhero.
enthusiasm alone is getting me
He
excited for this
tweeted
movie.
at Marvel that he wanted to be Shang-Chi, and now he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
In
A
2018.
full freaking circle.
So
Yeah, I mean, and like everyone involved in this is excited about it, and the fact that we are getting to see this part of the MCU with the martial arts, the fact that this is for the most part, a predominantly Asian American cast is fantastic. I think Simu Liu is Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian, I think.
So yeah, like the fact that we're getting to have this part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's something that a lot of like kind of fans like me who are not as well versed in a lot of the comic history, we don't know about. So the fact that we're really getting to dive into this is super exciting. And I can't wait. The trailers like sold me.
I don't
sure.
think I've had quite an experience like this since Guardians of the Galaxy, to where it's just like I have no idea what this movie is going to be. And back, back whenever Guardians of the Galaxy came out, sorry Richard, I was 13.
2014.
I was 13 whenever that movie came out. Sorry again,
Yep.
Richard.
Yes, I'm old.
So well, sometimes I've
Yeah.
been beaten up enough today, Richard. Okay, so let me
Yeah,
have this.
fair.
I had something and I just held my tongue. So you're welcome for that one.
Anyway,
Okay.
so but yeah,
Okay.
I was 13 whenever Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and so since it was something that I didn't know, I automatically assumed, so it's gonna be terrible. Because nobody's ever heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, 13-year-old me is stupid and idiot and wrong. Because Guardians of the Galaxy is amazing. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. And so that gets me really excited for Shang-Chi as well, because I have no idea what to expect in this movie, and that's what I love most about it. Besides, of course, the amazing action sequences that we're going to be getting. I mean, just from the trailer alone, you get to really see that this is going to be something else with the action.
And the family drama. I mean, think about
absolutely.
it. His dad is like the leader of the Ten Rings, which we have been hearing about since literally the first Marvel movie.
Yep.
So that's going to be like insane. The fact that he has to, because it feels like like based on the trailer, it seems like a situation where he's had these 10 years, he's been living a normal life, and he's getting called back into this life he doesn't want to be involved in. So he's got to he has to fight his way out of it. He has to defeat his dad, maybe take the 10 rings. And because we saw them too around someone's arms, it wasn't clear who in the trailer. So
Blue and black,
so he's gonna have to really battle his way out of this, which is gonna be super interesting, because it's this it's someone that doesn't want it. It really seems like he wants a normal life. I mean, he's a valet with a buddy.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I was just thinking about, you mentioned how we've known about the 10 rings since the first Iron Man movie. I mean, they were behind Tony Stark getting kidnapped and tortured, and the reason he turned into Iron Man, basically. The thing that got me in the trailer was, like you mentioned earlier, the 10 years thing, like where his dad said that I gave you 10 years to live your life. I'm wondering if we're going to get some like legit Iron Man flashbacks in this movie. Like maybe not Iron Man specifically, but like maybe the reports that Tony was watching right before he blew up the terrorist camps or something. So,
That'd be cool.
I mean, I think that 10 Rings has a chance to go into some real depth in this movie, and that should be really exciting.
Well, and it's been said that this is going to be taking place during the blip too, right?
Right. So
that's
10
gonna be
years.
cool.
So if it's 10 years during the blip, that would mean it's at about 2009 to 11 or so instead of 2013 if it's been 10 years.
But I mean, the fact that we're going to get to see a new hero during the blip, I mean, that's something that is amazing. It's something
Yeah.
that should be happening. Exploring that time period
For sure.
is like, because that's a time period where you didn't have as you still had heroes, but you didn't have as many heroes. So seeing a hero kind of be born out of this and have this be their origin at this time is going to be super interesting, and to see how they play into the larger MCU is going to be really cool, because is it something that Steve and Natasha were aware of?
Yeah, or any of the ones that were alive.
Well, I've gotta. You would think no, because there was no mention of him in Endgame, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you would think that if they knew about him, there would at least be some sort of like teaser, like an Easter egg, in Endgame.
Like the way they did Namor or something.
Yeah, that's exactly
with Okoye.
Mm-hmm. So
maybe, but I could also see them not being able to, because remember, they were looking at global catastrophes like earthquakes and things that were like going on throughout the universe. So I think it'd be really interesting to find out if maybe they knew about it, they saw he handled it, so they didn't worry about it.
Yeah, but really why? You think they give him a phone call? Just like, hey, we got this like Thanos guy we got to deal with, like like if he's still around. So I think if they know about him, then there's got to be some sort of explanation of why he wasn't in Endgame.
Whatever the reason is, I want to see them touch on it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you have Eternals too who didn't show up, so I wouldn't be shocked if we had. Because if I were him, I wouldn't want to deal with Thanos.
No, absolutely. No, I wouldn't want to deal with Thanos if I was anybody.
But I mean, I really don't think that they knew about the Eternals.
No, I don't think they did either. But I think that the Eternals knew what was going on. Is my point.
Well, and I remember, I mean, there was like 1,000 people in that battle. They could have been in there somewhere. We just didn't see them. I mean, Howard the Duck was in the final battle. So, I mean, they could have been in there like super like tiny off into the corner theoretically. So, and I guess the same could be said for Shang-Chi as well. So,
yeah, but
we'll see.
I'm excited. That trailer was epic.
Yeah, that trailer sold me on the movie.
Yeah. I'm really excited for Shang-Chi. I mean, just more Marvel in general is going to be a good thing.
For sure.
Especially the big screen, because this is the next movie after Black Widow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, Black Widow comes out in July. This comes out on September 3rd.
So that's exciting. I mean, we're going to see these two movies that take place before Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's and before the Disney Plus, and they're before the Disney Plus series too. So these are going to be. It's going to be interesting to see how they play into kind of what's going on in the modern MCU situation.
I was just thinking before we move on. I think either Eternals or Spider-Man No Way Home could be the first MCU movie to actually be a true sequel to the Infinity Saga.
I think Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, I would lean more toward that, because I think Eternals is going to be a lot set in the past, maybe a little bit more in the present too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier obviously have, but that's going to be super interesting to see what happens when we see like a real post-Endgame world in the movies.
Yeah, and I like that we're getting to explore before.
Well, wouldn't that be Far From Home? Sorry to interrupt, but I mean, Far From Home.
Well, yeah, fair point.
You're right, Far From Home. But I'm liking that we're getting to explore these periods in the movies, because the blip was 5 years. Like stuff happened, so the fact that we get to really go into that is really cool.
That's
I like
a quarter of my life. No, it's not.
No, it's not. I like.
No, it's not. Wait a minute. No.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, dear Lord.
impressive
Oh.
math skills.
Oh, dude.
Um,
I'm a
Well,
broadcasting
math.
student, okay? So
Math.
so yeah, that's the core of
Anyways.
my life.
Yeah,
Oh my
but
God.
so the fact that we're getting the
I am not
Black
having a great day,
Widow
folks.
backstory and that it looks like it's going to be playing into the present with maybe Ross, maybe Taskmaster, definitely Elena. So that's really interesting that we're getting to really jump back into the MCU and see how it plays out in the present of the MCU.
Ryan Boytz is in the chat. He says, "Sup guys? What's up, Ryan? I'm glad you got to see me completely butcher. Well, I got it right, but then I doubted myself. Like how long I've been on this earth. So
Ryan's one of our guys at the Illuminerdi,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he does a great job for us.
absolutely.
I think that is our big Marvel block for today. Was there
Right.
anything else that you guys thought we needed to cover?
We got a lot of
real-
Marvel stuff. I think we got it good.
Or
Yeah,
anybody in the chat think we needed to have any
Yeah,
questions
please do mention
or
us
anything
in
you
the
wanted to
chat
talk
if we
about?
missed anything.
Real quick before we move on to DC, just another quick plug. We do have the super chat feature here on the channel. So obviously, we're gonna be reading the chat throughout the show. But if you send a super chat, that will definitely ensure that your comment will be read. So if that's something that you want to do, definitely feel free to send us a super chat. You know, if there's something really important, and obviously, if you guys have topics that you want us to talk about, super chat is a great way to do that. Because a lot of the times, so we have a structure on the show, but you send us a super chat, or you send super. Can I
We are
speak maybe
always
today?
happy
Yeah.
to talk about what you want to hear.
Oh yeah.
That.
So
Yes.
yeah, if you send a super chat our way, we will definitely be able to talk about that for you. But now that I'm done completely butchering the super chat advertisement, should we move on to DC?
Yeah,
we got some good DC stuff.
DC is cool because it's mostly casting news, and that's
Yeah.
always really exciting
Mhm.
because it points to what's going to be happening in the movies or TV shows. I think first we're going to go over Doom Patrol. Now, I'm a big fan of Doom Patrol because it is the weirdness of DC that I always enjoy. Doom Patrol is one of the odder shows, and as I've said before, I'm a fan of Legends of Tomorrow, and that is in that same vein of what in the heck are they doing?
Absolutely.
So Doom Patrol, which ended the second season because of COVID with a major cliffhanger that was actually supposed to be the, I believe, penultimate episode, looks like they are going to be adding 2 new cast members to the show. I don't know if I don't think it's full cast, like a full cast member, but we will be seeing the Dead Boy Detectives, who are actually characters that were created by none other than Neil Gaiman, always amazing, and then artists Matt Wagner and Malcolm Jones. And the Dead Boy Detectives on Doom Patrol will be played by Sebastian Croft and Ty Tennant. Yes, the son of David Tennant.
Oh.
Yeah. And shout out to the Direct, the other website I write for that awesome exclusive. So those guys rock.
Yeah. And the Dead Boy Detectives are very interesting because they're literally what they sound like. They are like 2 undead, I believe ghosts that stuck around on Earth instead of moving on to the afterlife to solve supernatural mysteries.
Yeah.
Caitlin, real quick, I don't want to go too far off track, but it's funny that you mentioned that Doom Patrol's penultimate episode actually ended up being the finale, because Titans actually did that on purpose, without COVID circumstances. So that was kind of annoying. Sorry. Go ahead. just wanted to bring that up real quick.
There's a reason I prefer Doom Patrol over Titans, Bryce.
See, yeah, I think we talked about this privately, and I've mentioned it on the show before, but I am a fan of the Titans show, but I see all the flaws, so I'm watching it because I'm rooting for them, but yeah,
you want it to be good.
Yeah, I see the problems, but yeah, I definitely
for sure.
Continue on with Doom Patrol.
Well, what's interesting is there was a run in the comics where the Dead Boys Detectives did actually cross over with Doom Patrol, and it had to do with Dorothy, who was introduced last season as the Chief's daughter. So it'll be interesting to see how they come into play, especially with the huge cliffhanger that happened on the last season of Doom Patrol. I think that is our big Doom Patrol news. I am always happy to see new Doom Patrol news because, like I said, it is the weirdness of DC that I just adore. But we are going to go into the less oddness of DC and go into the more mainstream with some other casting news.
Hold on, real quick. JB is in the chat. He says, "My first time watching you guys. Great so far. Keep it up." Thank you so much, JB, for tuning in.
Thank you, JB. Yeah, and also Also, real quick before we move on from that,
Yeah.
way to go, Ty Tennant, taking the mantle, taking the baton from David Tennant. I mean, we saw David Tennant in Jessica Jones. He was Doctor Who for a while. I mean, passing on some good genes to his son.
But Bryce, I think you had some exciting casting news for Aquaman too.
Yeah, so I mean, this isn't something I reported myself, but I did release an article about it. You're gonna have to help me out with the name. Pilau Bayek.
I think it's Pilu Asbek. I think
he was on Game of Thrones.
So I'm gonna call him. Yeah. I'm gonna call him the guy from Game of Thrones from now on.
PD.
And so yeah, so Game of Thrones star Mr. P, Mr. PA, is set to be in Aquaman 2. Funny enough, Jason Momoa was also in Game of Thrones, but they were on the show at different times, I believe. Deadline reported this that as Bayek would star opposite of Momoa in Aquaman 2, which indicates a pretty much a villainous role, which is interesting to see. I mean, we don't really know much else besides that he's gonna be in it. So he definitely played a sort of an antagonist in Game of Thrones. So who do we think that Mr. PA could be playing in Aquaman 2?
Well, I mean, what we know about Aquaman 2 is we know that we will have the return of Ocean Master and Black Manta. I'm personally hoping we see the return of Randall Park's character too, because he seemed to have a team up with Black Manta that could be really interesting.
I forget that he was
Randall,
in that movie.
Randall Park in anything comic book related.
He completely overshone in WandaVision that I forgot that he was even in Aquaman.
And Ant-Man.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I know. I remember him.
Ant-Man, Aquaman, and WandaVision. That's impressive.
But so we know that we're gonna have those returning characters along with, like, obviously Jason Momoa and Amber Heard as Mira, and so we kind of have these returning characters, at least two of whom are antagonistic. So if we're adding a third villain to the bunch, that could be really interesting. We know that the Aquaman 2 working title is actually Necros, so that could either be just a reference to the lore of Aquaman, or it could be an actual tease for what the plot could be about, because Necros is another underwater city with a little bit more of an interesting history because it appears and disappears because of an alien satellite. So there's not a lot that we really know about this. Having a new cast member join is always exciting because it does lead to a lot of questions. Like, if Necros does actually come into play and it's not simply like reference to the lore of Aquaman, maybe this is going to be the king of Necros. Maybe it's one of the warriors. We're not totally sure, but there's so many possibilities for this. I mean, I'm sure that we're going to have Aquaman trying to still kind of unite the people of, like, who live in the ocean and then the people who live on land. So this could potentially also be a villain that's land-based.
Yeah. Personally, I think he's going to be playing Namor.
Okay, Mr.
Major.
That would be a major crossover.
Sorry, I was pulling a Caitlyn there, but I mean he could be playing any sea villain. So I mean there's no really information regarding anything character wise. We just know he's going to be in the movie, probably a villain. So
yeah, and I got to give Marvel and DC a shout out this week for getting top-notch Game of Thrones actors. I mean, Secret Invasion got Emilia Clarke, and now Aquaman got this guy. So Game of Thrones is doing really well in the comic book world.
We just can't even say his name. We have to call him this guy.
One of us has to learn how to pronounce his name this week, and we will say it again next week.
Yeah, we'll say it 5 times fast as well.
All right.
Make things interesting.
All right. Fine. I'll do it myself.
Good. Richard, you have some casting news for DC as well, right?
With a little bit more pronounceable of a name. So again, this one is no role confirmed, but comedian Mo Amer is going to be joining the cast of Black Adam alongside The Rock and Sarah Shahi. And like I said, don't know what his role is going to be. This is one of his first major movie roles in the U.S. He's mostly been a stand-up comedian on Netflix and stuff. But another good addition to the cast of Black Adam.
Yeah, and I like that they have a comedian coming into this. I'm curious if he's going to be playing more of a comedic role or if this is going to be more of a dramatic role, because as we've seen, comedians can definitely pull off the dramatic roles, especially in these like DC comic and even Marvel comic book based shows and movies. So I'm excited for that. Plus, I'm excited for more Black Adam news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
On the Legends of Tomorrow front, the casting news is a bit more of a downer. Dominic Purcell. Good God. Yes. Purcell has announced on Instagram that he is leaving Legends of Tomorrow. It looks like, I guess, having issues with the studio, except he walked back the initial Instagram post and followed it up with one that made it like he's not 100% leaving. It looks like he'll still be in it a little bit in this upcoming season. So personally, I'm really bummed because Mick Rory is one of the remaining 2 original Legends alongside Sarah Lance. And also Mick Rory is just freaking hilarious. His entire arc on Legends has been insane. He went from just a straight up villain to working for like the Time Masters, and then he became a romance novel writer. Like he has a kid. Like none of his story, like it's all insane and amazing. And his Mick Rory is just fantastic from back when we met him on The Flash and now on Legends of Tomorrow. So I'm definitely bummed about this news because he's a very, very cool character and a just fantastic part of that cast. So, and also just we're losing another original. We only got one person left from the original season 1 cast, other than like the voice of Gideon, the computer Gideon.
Yeah. Here, real quick, guys. You're not gonna believe it. Marvel Studios is in the chat. They say hello. Hello, Marvel Studios. Thank you for watching the show.
Hi.
Richard.
Okay.
Richard, it's not actually Marvel Studios.
I was gonna say there.
I love how you actually.
I was like, wait, there's no way.
There is someone in the chat named Marvel Studios, but
hey, you know what? You got me there. Nice job, Marvel Studios.
But thank you for watching, Marvel Studios. We really appreciate it. But yeah, it's definitely really sad.
We've done really well covering Marvel today.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. But
I think they especially liked when we started at muted. I think that's what sold it for them.
Yeah. They probably wish the Spider-Man leaks were muted.
Yeah.
But we've got some other really exciting DC news, right, Bryce?
Yeah. We've this is the Flash, right? We're moving on to we're moving on to the Flash right now.
Right.
The Flash has a new logo for its movie, and it's started production. You can't believe it. The Flash is actually filming.
The Flash is shooting with a camera, with stars. It's happening.
Yeah, and it has been further confirmed that Michael Keaton will be in the movie. I know there was a little question marks raising with some of the comments that Keaton himself made, but yeah, we've got a new logo for the movie, and would you look at that? It looks pretty clean. I mean, it literally just says the Flash. It's got the lightning bolt, and I think this silhouette of the suit in the background. But I think it looks cool.
Yeah. I'd say it's not overwhelmingly awesome, but it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
It's the Flash. I mean, it looks like the Flash. It makes you think of the Flash. It gets you excited about the Flash. So I think it does exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah, it did a job.
Yeah. And I mean, Bryce, you're kind of excited about this starting, right? You've been talking about it a little bit.
I'm pretty excited about this. I mean, obviously this movie was supposed to come out in 2018, so just for that fact alone, I'm pretty excited. I like pretty much everything that Ezra Miller's been in, except for the Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald. That movie was horrendously terrible. But otherwise than that, I've really liked all the stuff that Ezra Miller's been in. I'm really intrigued to see that Michael Keaton is coming back as Bruce Wayne, and Ben Affleck is coming back as Bruce Wayne. So that's going to be interesting. And obviously this is more than likely going to be a pretty much complete refresh of the DCEU, and it needs one. So I'm intrigued to see how they handle that, what they're going to do. Are they going to combine universes in, or are they going to expand out? I could see them doing both. So So yeah, I'm really excited to see where this movie is going to go, and it's definitely going to be a very important movie for the DCEU.
And the implications of Michael Keaton being the main Batman are interesting too.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, who would have thought that Michael Keaton would come back as Batman after almost 30 years away from it?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it definitely
not as crazy as Ben Affleck coming back. Oddly enough, I thought that was never ever going to happen. Like not in a million years, but he's come back for two things now. He came back for Zack Snyder's Justice League, which that wasn't a surprise. But him coming back for Flash, that is a huge surprise.
Agreed.
Yeah. And Michael Keaton, that definitely hints at the possibility of Batman Beyond being something that they might play with in live action.
I hope so.
Which would be awesome.
I want that so bad. Like that would be awesome. So
they could
I really
definitely
hope
use
they
it
do
too.
that.
I mean, if they're going with a Black Superman, having a go with Batman Beyond is another way to really go at that character that is more unique than what we've seen in the movies so far. So I think if they start going at these kind of classic characters in a more unexpected way, it should be interesting.
Right.
For sure. And the fact that they may have 3 Batmen within the same universe running at the same time, I mean, that's just absolutely insane.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Ben Affleck survives this movie. So I don't think that we'll have 3, but probably 2. So if we're not counting Robert Pattinson as well. I think that's a whole nother question. Does Robert Pattinson come into the fray at some point? He might as well. Everybody else is showing up, so.
Well, they've got the Gotham. They've got the Gotham PD show spinning right off from that on HBO Max. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be heavily around Jim Gordon, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be really cool as well. I mean, it's gonna be weird because we got that already with Gotham, but it does really seem that this is going to be completely different. And
yeah,
so,
I think the producer has actually was asked about it, and he stated he's like,
just a couple
very
days ago,
different. It's very different. I swear.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, the budget is going to be completely like to the moon compared to Gotham as well, and Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon is going to be I'm really excited for that one.
Also, no child Batman, so that's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No Bat Kid.
Yeah, right. Man, I feel like Alfred should have been way more concerned about that child who was burning his hand and
seriously
all that stuff.
Seriously.
Oh man, why didn't Bruce Wayne go to a shrink in that show?
Why hasn't Bruce Wayne gone to a shrink at all? In any of his movies, that dude's went through
maybe he
trauma.
has. They just didn't put it. They just cut it out.
Maybe I don't know.
All the shrinks are in Arkham.
Yeah.
Or talking to Bucky. Or actually, no, barely talking to Bucky.
That therapist would also break Batman.
Oh God, she totally would.
Yeah. Oh wait, can we get a Disney Plus show with just a therapist? I think that'd be from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that'd be a good show.
Decimating heroes and survivors.
For sure.
Making all of them question everything, and Bucky's like, "See, I was right."
Yeah. Oh man. What if we got one with Thor? That would be a good one. Or
I feel like Thor would win that. Thor would win that because he would just confuse
Wanda. Wanda would be a good one.
Right.
Wanda needs a good therapist.
Yeah.
But anyways,
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I didn't expect to be as excited for The Flash as I am. And I think part of it is because of Michael Keaton and what that could possibly mean. Because I'm a big fan of the DC animated universe. That's just fantastic. Yeah. So if we're going to be diving into that in live action, that's extremely exciting.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me that really gets me excited about this movie is that there's cameras rolling on set. So the movie is actually real and it's happening.
Exactly. It's not just a myth anymore.
Yeah. So it's just the Flash movie sounds cool, but are they actually going to do it? But now they're actually doing it. And so yeah, exactly. I this definitely gets me really excited for The Flash.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, the DCU could definitely use a refresh. So
or a jump start at least.
Jump start with the Flash. Yeah, the Flash would be able to jumpstart the DCU.
Oh God, I didn't even think
and
about
your car.
that.
And
Oh Lord.
So I think that is our big DC news for today.
Yep.
Again, if we missed anything, please let us know. But for now, we are going to move on to the little bit of Star Wars news we have.
Yeah.
Sadly,
We only have one Star Wars topic, but it's a good one.
yeah, sadly, it's not as big as we've had the last couple of weeks. But the Bad Batch did release a new poster last week, which was very cool and just another reason to be excited about the show. I know, like, you guys are both Clone Wars fans, so the fact that we're really getting to continue that saga is something that I cannot wait for. And the poster features not only the 5 members of the Bad Batch, but this mysterious young character that we saw in the trailer not too long ago. We don't know much about who they are, but it looks like they're going to be, based on the poster and based on the trailer, they're going to be kind of involved with the Bad Batch in some way.
Yeah.
And then we also have Emperor Palpatine.
Something dark side.
Somehow
Yeah,
Emperor
that's
Palpatine
totally what he
returned.
says.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Well, I'm excited for the show.
We're not going to
because
get into that one.
Place right after Order 66. Like, we haven't really in the shows or movies, I'm sure we have in like the books and comics, but we haven't really in the shows and movies explored how the Empire took over. So the fact that we're going to see the Empire actually take over from the Republic and how they've like expanded into the galaxy, how they have, is really exciting. I really hope someone like sees Emperor Palpatine and goes, he's evil, right?
That's a bad guy.
Seriously. Like, coming from somebody who's actually watching through Clone Wars for the first time, I'm like halfway through season 6, so I'm almost there. Nobody saw that coming through all of Clone Wars in episode 1 and 2.
Wars, but like after the freaking like Revenge of the Sith, he like straight up looks evil.
Oh, absolutely.
So like no, you know. So
it's just
like
kind of like the whole Victor Von Doom thing. Just like, why would you ever want to be friends with a guy named Doom? It's just like
Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to see like how the Empire takes over and how that plays out. I think seeing it through the Bad Batch is going to be really interesting because as far as we know, all of the clones had the inhibitor chip. Sorry, Richard, plug your ears. Inhibitor chip in their head activated, which is why they went and like actually did Order 66 and killed the Jedi. So how does that come into play with the Bad Batch? Because the Bad Batch had these mutations and augmentations, you know, so it'll be really cool to see that. The fact that we're going to actually get to see this through clones that may or may not be affected by the chips is really exciting. And no, I want to see them travel. I want to see them not necessarily fighting the Empire, but just kind of doing their own thing, you know? So no, that should be exciting. I think the poster looks great.
And it gives us something to watch in the Marvel hiatus as well.
Yeah, and
it was an unexpected Marvel hiatus, but at least it's not long.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first new Star Wars content in like a while.
Since season 2 of The Mandalorian ended, right?
Yeah. And I honestly was really surprised, really happily surprised when they announced Bad Batch, because with the success of Mandalorian and all the spinoffs from that, I was sort of expecting the animated side of Star Wars to kind of die out.
Yeah.
I never really thought that. So that's interesting. I mean, I think there's no reason for it to. It's cheaper. I don't
actually think it is. I think it's about the same price
of the Mandalorian.
Well,
I don't know. Like the animation they do is pretty.
Yeah, I mean it's good, but I mean the
it's
Mandalorian
also going to be more episodes.
Like $100,000 like an episode, or
I'm not sure.
100 million an episode. 100,000. Can you? Well, yeah, that would be a cheap show, but
but I mean, like
that'd be like
Bad
Power
Batch
Rangers.
is supposed to have 14 episodes minimum, based on what the composer said in an interview. So, like, it was less about the money for why I thought it would die out, and more about the reach of general audiences. Because general audiences don't tend
popularity.
to.
I mean, regardless on the production, you're definitely paying your actors less. One, because you have one main actor. Dean Bradley Baker. Well, and he's not the only main cast member.
That dude deserves
but
some
he plays
major props
five main characters in that show. So
plus every other clone.
Yeah. So
that dude deserves some
we don't
major
know how
props
much of
for
the clones we're going
all the way through Clone Wars and then Bad Batch playing so many different characters. I mean, props.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fact that we really get to see the aftermath of the Clone Wars in a way that we haven't seen as much, because we had Solo, we had Rebels, we had Rogue One, and of course the original like trilogy that all take place during the time of the Empire. But the immediate aftermath and how they really kind of became this insidious part of the galaxy is going to be really interesting to watch, because we saw the lead up. We saw how he got to the place where he had control over everything, because he was, of course, manipulating every single part of the situation. But to see it play out and to kind of see how he wins is going to be really cool.
I'm really excited to see that side of the story.
Yeah, I want to explore the galaxy further. I'm hoping we see some of the Clone Wars characters that we've seen, maybe not even big prominent ones, but ones we've seen for like that had a few episode arcs or something.
I think well, at least well, maybe not Rex. I don't think it'd be right to see Rex, because I think his return in Rebels, you know, like I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't mind. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing how he teamed up with the other two clones, because we never found out how their inhibitor chips
that's true.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I
either
think
way, it's gonna be a
be
fun series.
really interesting to see, and Obi-Wan as well would be Cody.
Yeah.
Because as far as we know, that he never got the chip removed. So well, he did get the chip because he was in Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah, he tried to kill
he was.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So
yeah, he did when he was on Grievous's planet.
Yeah.
So
and it's going to be really interesting to see, because as we've seen in Clone Wars, like these clones were distinctive, unique individuals, and we bonded with them. And so
and I love that about Clone Wars.
100%, it makes the prequels to me like way more of just fun, I guess.
Well, and
a
can
little
we
more
just talk
watchable.
real quick, highlight how hard of a task that must have been, because they're all clones, but they made them all distinct, different characters. I mean, that's 100%. Crazy.
Seriously.
I mean, that sounds like an impossible task that they made possible. So that's just so cool.
100%. Yeah. I completely agree with you. And then with the inhibitor chips, as we saw at the end of Clone Wars, they aren't anymore.
Wow.
You know, like how long? Like, what are the long-term ramifications of that? I assume it wasn't just complete Order 66. Okay, go back to everything. It's fine.
Right.
You know, because we just have a bunch of clones like probably weeping that they just murdered all their friends.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I think another interesting thing to explore in this show, maybe probably not season 1, but at some point, would be, you know, the transition from clone troopers to stormtroopers. I think that's a very important thing that we haven't seen in a TV show or a movie yet. Obviously, you know, it was in the book, it was in a comic book, or it was just in this book, or this official poem that was written for Star Wars or something, you know. But
but the reasons are like, what are the reasons? Is it the Clone Force 99? Is it that there are issues with the clones? Is it something that's a more administrative thing in the Empire? Is it a concern about loyalty? Because as we did see in Clone Wars, there were definitely clones who were not as controllable with the inhibitor chip as they wanted. So there's a lot of possibilities there to play with. So no, I'm really excited. Clone Wars is, I think, 2 weeks away. It's premiering on Star Wars Day. So
Bad Batch,
Bad Batch. It feels like Clone Wars 2.0.
Yeah. It basically is Clone Wars Season 8.
Yeah, it definitely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Definitely feels that way. So that's going to be a very exciting episode here, because we're going to be talking about that for sure. And then there was also
that's the day it comes out.
Yep. Yes, it is. And then there was also a couple of rumors that it looked like Boba Fett might be wrapping up or has wrapped up filming. So that's exciting.
Okay. I had no idea. There you go.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, that was quick.
That could be exciting. Like I said, it's a rumor. It's not 100% or anything. But, I mean, if they're going to be wrapping up filming, then that could mean that we'll be getting Mandalorian started sooner rather than later, which is always going to be an exciting thing.
Yeah,
and
I'm excited to see Richard's favorite Mandalorian character, Cobb Vanth, make an appearance. So that's going to be really exciting there. But is that it for Star Wars?
Well, there's also a rumor that we're going to be seeing Wookiee or Wookiees in The Mandalorian Season 3. Literally no other information about that. It could be a background character. It could be an episode. It could be Chewbacca. It could be...
Just give us the Wookiees and we'll be good.
Yeah, right? I am so excited to see, because Mando speaks Wookiee.
Yeah.
Like, he speaks Sand people.
Oh God, he has to.
He speaks everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, I mean, those are the big Star Wars news pieces. Like I said, not anything huge. Couple of rumors that could be leading some exciting things, and then the Bad Batch new poster, which, again, nothing really new on it, just more reason to be excited.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that is our big news for It's All Connected this week.
Yep.
We had a major Marvel dump. Like, we had Spider-Man.
We had a big Marvel dump.
We had Shang-Chi. We had, of course, the penultimate episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm excited for more Marvel. I think we're going to be talking about Falcon Winter Soldier next week for a just ridiculous amount of time. Yeah. So that's
Can't
going to be
wait for it.
That's gonna be exciting. And yeah, I'm excited for whatever comes next in all three of these areas. I'm hoping we have more news in DC and Star Wars next week.
Yeah.
I'm good
For
if we
sure.
stay consistent with Marvel at this much news. I'm happy with that.
Although after next week, I'm betting it's going to be a lot more Star Wars, maybe a little more DC, because we're going to have a little bit of a Marvel lull until Loki, but we will have Assemble to talk about for Falcon Winter Soldier the week after next. So that'll be fun. And then obviously, if you want to catch the episode with us live, you can watch it on our Marvel Watch Along party with me, Caitlin, Brax, and TC, which starts at 11:40 Pacific time on Thursday night before the episode comes on Disney Plus.
Falcon and Winter Soldier finale. It's going to be a very fun watch along.
Can't wait.
Yep. Well, with that being said, I think that's going to wrap up today's episode. Be sure to subscribe to Illuminerdi, turn on those post notifications to be notified of all of our other shows. We got the Marvel Watch Along, like Corbin, Caitlin and Richard just said. We've got the New Cap recap. Richard, great name.
Thank you.
The final episode of New Cap recap. We've got this show. It's all connected. And we've also got plenty of other shows. We got something for a little bit of something for everybody. So definitely stay tuned for that. But again, that's going to wrap things up here on It's All Connected. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember, we're always watching. Take care.
See ya.